The text lines are open. 4001 is the SMS. You can use the ARN Play app. And the WhatsApp, I want to know, where are you going this weekend? What are you eating? And Noni from the news team has a special request. She wants to know where to get the best takeaway fish and chips in the city. So if you've got a recommendation for Noni, I was out. I have no idea. So this is one for you guys. Where to get good fish and chips. She's got a craving this Friday. Where should Noni from the news team go?
Farmer's Kitchen on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Dubai loves Italian food, but what makes an Italian restaurant stand out in a very crowded marketplace? Chef Francesco is here, the culinary force behind Chic Nonna, and has made it his mission to honour Italian tradition while giving it a modern edge. Having launched the kitchen at El Burro and now leading the charge at one of DIFC's most talked about venues, he is here to share a little bit about growing up, but also how he's putting his own spin on classics without losing their soul. Thank you so much for making time for a chef, especially on a Friday. I know how busy the kitchens get at the weekend, so you're probably here to have a little relax and a sit down, away from the craziness of the kitchen. You moved to Dubai when you were just 19, but I want to go back even further than that, chef. Tell us about where you grew up and who was cooking. What are some of the dishes from your childhood that take you back?
Hello everyone, thank you to having me here. And I grew up in Italy, in Calabria, which is south of Italy. And I started to get in love with this job when I was very young, because my grandmother and my mother, they were always cooking for all the family, and they were making this very traditional food and with very basic techniques, but was bringing to the table all the taste and all the ingredients, direct farm to the table. So was something crazy for me, because if I think now, which is almost like 20 years ago, I'm shocked when I think how they can create such a things, which now professional chefs does. So
well, there's probably a few answers there. You've probably answered your own question. One is the quality of the ingredients.
Yes.
That freshness, because you probably didn't even realise as a child how lucky you were to be having access to these beautiful, simple ingredients. And then you have the technique that sounds like has been passed down in the family, now third generation. Now, as I said, you're at Chic Nonna. You're talking there about your own nonna.
Yes.
What were some of the dishes that make you think of her?
When I think about my nonna, I especially think about parmigiana. I especially think about tagliatelle ragu. She was preparing the tagliatelle, which is homemade pasta with for all the family, for 15, 16 people, so by herself. And I was looking at her, and now redoing the same dish with a touch of the chef, of course, makes me very happy.
You must be very, very proud to think of the family and you going. You probably didn't even get a chance to cook if you had two strong women in the kitchen. When did you start to cook yourself?
I started to cook myself when I was 15 years old. So I started in a very pastry shop close to my home. So I was going there to learn the basics of the pastry, and then I moved to the kitchen. So I started here when I was 15 years old, and I traveled to all different kitchens around Italy, and since I reached to Dubai to 2017.
So, as I said, getting your start here at El Burro, incredibly well-respected and well-loved kitchen, and very popular indeed, and now leading the charge at Chic Nonna. Some do say that we maybe have too many Italian restaurants here. What do you think makes Chic Nonna stand out? What is the philosophy that you are bringing that people are really enjoying, Chef?
What behind Chic Nonna, it's a very traditional restaurant, which I always, when I create a dish, I think about my story. So what was my my past. So every time that I create a dish, I want the guest, while he's biting, while he's talking with his friends, reminding me like a story. Especially for the Italians, every time that I create a dish, I would like to bring them back to their past. So their mother dish or grandmother dish. So looking at them, I want them to feel like, wow, this dish remind me when I was children, and all of these things.
I think there's kind of two demographics. One is that idea of the Italian community feeling like they're coming home and having that nostalgia and their shoulders dropping of going, I feel safe and held, and I have those memories and those smells that take me back to childhood. And then there's people that weren't lucky enough to grow up with an amazing nonna making, tagliatelle ragu, people like me, who my grandmother made, bless her soul, not a great chef. I thought that roast beef was supposed to be grey until I was about 20 because she did a terrible roast beef. But then there's us who come and we learn about Italy and through your food. That must be very satisfying as well, to have that storytelling, for people to understand why you've chosen an ingredient or why you're honouring a technique.
Yeah. Everything is based on the ingredients, the simple ingredients with the full of taste. So I love to keep the ingredients very traditional and very very typical on their flavor. So I always respect the product and the ingredients, but I always add the touch of the chef to create the dish balance. And
tell us about that, about this kind of blending tradition with innovation, chef. Are there any examples of the dish that kind of capture that?
Yeah, for example, one of the dish that I create and is becoming very popular is the spaghetti all'assassina. Spaghetti all'assassina is a very typical dish from Puglia, south of Italy, which the grandmother they were doing. Basically, when with the leftover of the pasta, spaghetti, they were putting back in the pan, adding tomato sauce, getting them burned, and then giving to the table for the family.
So burning on purpose?
Yes. So
this is like
the
me.
assassina, the assassina is spicy sauce. Assassina means killer, so killer pasta. This is the real name in English of the assassina.
Oh,
and I reinterpret it in Chic Nonna because for me, in Dubai, they love spices, they love the spaghetti, tomato sauce. So making this pasta a little bit crunchy, a little bit burn, and it's a nice combination for the market. And I add the stracciatella on the top, which is burrata, so to balance the flavor and give to the guest a nice experience. And also burrata is from Puglia, so everything is from south, very traditional and very nice to taste.
I can hear tummies rumbling across Dubai. In studio, the head chef at Chic Nonna, Chef Francesco. We are going to be talking about the dishes that he would refuse to innovate, to modernise, and of course getting into desserts as well. And I'm curious, what are some of the big misconceptions that people have about Italian food? What are we getting wrong? Plus, if you are thinking about going there over the weekend, what are the must orders? Let me know, what are your plans for the weekend? Where are you going? Where are you heading? Anywhere that you think deserves a shout out here on Dubai Eye 103.8, you can reach out on 4001.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
With Yas Island Abu Dhabi. Stay at iconic hotels and play at record-breaking theme parks. Book now on yasisland.com.
Jennifer Crichton, 13 minutes past 1. What's happening on the roads?
Very little.
Yay!
Feels a bit like tempting fate to say that, but there's not very much to see on the maps. It's all pretty green. There is a bit of slow-moving traffic on the northbound carriageway of the 311 through Zayed Military City area of Abu Dhabi. It's a slowdown. There's no accident. It's just slightly slower moving traffic. And the fact that I'm telling you that shows you how little there is to
Great. We'll take
the map.
green on the screen all day long.
Go out there, drive up and down to your heart's content. At the moment, you can go wherever you like.
Do you know what it's like? When you have a really bad cold and you're like, I am never going to take clear nasal passages for granted ever again. And then you forget. You're like, oh, yeah, that's nice. It's a bit like that. And you go on the road and you go, oh, this is lovely.
Yeah.
So just enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it.
Make the most of it.
And please make sure it stays that way. Jen will be here in an hour, though, to see if she's jinxed it. 4001. If you've got anything to report, you can reach us on the usual numbers.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
We are talking food and film through until 4 o'clock today. If you've got a recommendation, please send it our way. We're also going to be looking at food news after 1:30 from the new 3 Phils opening in Abu Dhabi. 2 we've just been talking about, cheese. Apparently shortages globally. What is going on?
You're listening to Farmer's Kitchen on Dubai Eye 103.8.
More coming up next on the UAE's